Hey my people, they say buy the rumor but sell the news. When you're talking about stocks, they always say you should buy the rumor and sell the news. Remember recently when Elon Musk was going on Saturday Night Live, we expected that Dogecoin would hit the moon. It didn't, But those who were clever enough just sold when he was about to talk about it. So they bought the rumor of him appearing on Saturday Night Live, and then they sold the news when things were going not so well for them. And Elon Musk didn't actually talk so positively, I would say, what was expected for Dogecoin. Hey guys, here is Ken's MoneyMatters, and here we talk about the money mindset, how to make that money, how to enjoy that money, how to manage that money, how to invest that money, and how to have a lifetime of financial freedom. So I'm going to talk about the stocks you should buy today before things happen. I know you're saying this is the point, but I haven't quarter. So I want to talk about some stocks that you need to buy as soon as possible. If you're looking to make money in the stock market in Kenya, you're always asking me questions on how to go about it. I'm going to give you the stocks you need to buy right now. I'm going to start a series whereby I will be analyzing different stocks. I won't go through all the details. Like I've done a video on some of the things you need to analyze for you to know which stocks you actually should buy or what you should look out for. These particular stocks I'm going to talk about, I won't go deeply into the financials as such, but I will touch on the financials a bit, but I won't go deeply as such because I want us to just look at what's going to happen that's going to change the share price of these stocks and what is going to make you good money. There are 3 stocks that I'm going to talk about, and they are in the process of doing certain amazing things that will definitely change the landscape and push their prices up. So if you buy these stocks now, again, I don't encourage trading, please. I don't encourage trading. I always say buy for the long term, buy for the long haul. And these stocks I'm talking about right now, you can buy and hold for as long as you want. But I know if you buy them in the next few days, you're going to make very good profits in the next few months or let's say a couple of years. So these stocks are doing really well so far, of course, and they're yet to do well. In my opinion, in my analysis, I think they're going to do well based on the different events that are going to come up, okay? So let's go through these different events and see which stocks are these and how we're going to make money out of these stocks in Kenya. Like I said, start investing as soon as possible. Don't wait to know everything. Make mistakes along the way. And if you want me to help you, check out Ken's MoneyMatters as usual. Our website has lots of information, and you can also contact me to help you in this process if you want to. Let's dive into it now. So the first stock I wanted to buy right now in Kenya is Safaricom. Some people will be thinking Safaricom just dipped in profits recently, that Safaricom is not doing so well, but this is the time to buy. They say you buy the dip. Now this is the dip we always talk about. This is the time to buy Safaricom. A lot of investors are viewing this news negatively because Safaricom released its financial statements a few weeks ago, and they said that their profits dipped 73 billion to 68 billion, basically a 6.8% drop in their profits or their earnings. But what I would say is that this is the best time to buy Safaricom shares when most investors may be dumping those shares, or some fearful people may be getting out of the market and losing money. This is the best time to venture into Safaricom. I'll give you reasons why I think it's so. Now, number one, when the profits dip, that's the time when most investors who are fearful will be dumping their positions and therefore creating the share price to go down. And of course, the sentiments and the negativity that the investors will be looking at the company with will make the shares go down and therefore create a good opportunity for those who want to buy for the long term to buy at a very good price and expect some really neat returns in the near future. Safaricom is still going to do really well in the long run. I'll tell you why. There are other things I'm going to speak about Safaricom besides just the fact that the profits did dip by 6.8%. I know this is the first time this is happening after like a decade or so, and most people are thinking, oh, is this the start of a downward spiral? I don't think so. Safaricom is still the main telecommunication giant in Kenya, and it's just starting right now. The M-Pesa is going across Africa right now. Just in the last few months, the transactions across the border hit over 290 million. So you can imagine that kind of market opening up for Safaricom. So there are so many things. There's the fiber, there's the M-Pesa, there's the voice calls, there's the messages. And then there are so many other things happening on the background I will mention that will make Safaricom still be a monopoly in the telecommunications sector, and especially in Kenya. So you need to hold for the long term. Don't worry about the profits. Don't worry about what's happening right now. you need to buy Safaricom and hold it. Of course, we have to agree that there was a dip in that profit with very explainable circumstances. But of course, these things never convince investors as such. Of course, there was the issue of coronavirus. This year, we're talking about March last year when there was a lockdown and they ended the financial year with a lockdown, as their CEO said. It's evident that it was definitely going to hit them. Remember the fee waiver. Anything below 1,000, you were sending it for free. So that actually meant that most of the money of the profits they were getting went for free, basically. They gave it out for free during that pandemic just to help people transfer money. That was their way of supporting the economy, which is a good thing for me. That's another good thing that shows that this is a company that cares for people. And when you have a company that's trying to care for its people, I know companies don't usually care for anyone, but you have to show that you are trying to do that for you to actually show the people around you and the environment that you are supporting whatever they are doing or whatever they're going through. So again, this is a good sign for someone who wants to invest for the long term. This is the kind of company you want to be associated with. So we're talking about the waiver, we're talking about the lockdowns, we're talking about the fact that over 4.4 trillion was transferred freely within that period. You can imagine the kind of profits they would have earned. And one thing you must always remember is that most people who transfer money are not transferring bulks of money. Most people who transfer money on M-Pesa are just transferring like 200 bob, 300, 400, 500, anything below 1,000. There are lots of transactions. If in just that particular year we had over 4.4 trillion transferred for free, that can show you that most people are SMEs, basically. These small businesses and individuals sending small money here and there. And that's the bulk of Safaricom customers. We have to agree. Those are the people that drive the economy. Those are the people that drive our economy. We have to accept that fact. So if you waive fees for sending amounts below 1,000, you are likely to be dipped in terms of profits a bit. So if you think about it that way, I do think that Safaricom is still going to do so well in the near future. I'm not worried about it. And then the second reasons why you should buy Safaricom right now as we speak. Safaricom has just submitted a bid for license to operate in Ethiopia. Ethiopia alone has over 118 million people. 118 million people, that's a clean market for a telecommunication giant like Safaricom. If they take it with calls, with SMS, with data, trust you me, their profits are going to go crazily high. And with the rebound from the lockdown, with the economy rebounding, and with them getting that opportunity to get into that country, trust you me, this is going to be a really good one. It's planning to get in there with their consortium. Safaricom did the bid as a consortium with Vodafone UK, Vodafone SA, and some other company from Japan, which is also a telecommunications company. So you can imagine that they have that access to some funds and some money. That means getting into the market and taking it properly won't be a problem. Safaricom is going to rise. The share price is going to rise. And their earnings next year will be good. Trust you me on this. So of course you want to look at any other thing that you would want to look at, like management, like you want to go deep into their financials and look at certain things like EBITDA, EBIT, PAT and stuff like that. But if you want to go and do that, of course you're free to go and do that. But of course we know how Safaricom has been doing over time. Their financials are public. You can go and check them out. But if you want to buy something and hold, this is the time to buy Safaricom. This bid that they have done in Ethiopia, they are likely to get it because they are one of the biggest. And with that consortium, they have a really good hold on it. And recently, this is the first time Ethiopia is opening its borders and its network to other players that are from outside. It's always been monopolized by a government parastatal. And so it's time for other people to come in. This is a huge market. And one day, this is going to take Africa by storm. So if you want to hold Safaricom, I advise that you should. People are always saying, oh, it's too high now and stuff like that. No. People invested years back are benefiting now. If you can invest now, you will benefit later. But also remember that they are still paying their dividends. That's a good sign for the company. They still managed to pay 92 cents per share as dividend payout, which was something up to 36 billion. And in February, they paid a surprise dividend, which was an equivalent of 45 cents per share. That's a company that is sure of its growth. The expected earnings, the expected growth is really good. So please don't be bogged down by negativity, negative sentiments and emotions. This is the time that real investors thrive. This is the time that you need to invest in some companies like Safaricom. Safaricom is talking with Amazon so that it can incorporate M-Pesa as a payment option on Amazon. Now that's another huge market. So think about this. So I'm telling you right now, these three companies are going to make you money. Safaricom has so many things in the pipeline right now as we speak. And remember, it's already incorporated in Alibaba, AliExpress, PayPal, and Visa. So all those services already have there. M-Pesa services in there. Then they are now going into Amazon. Man, Safaricom is doing amazing right now. If you don't want to buy Safaricom, shida yako. So I've given you good reasons why I think you should invest in them. And I've given you good reasons why I believe it's going to rebound. So there are so many things on the pipeline right now. You need to buy the Safaricom right now before all these things take place. And when they take place and when the economy rebounds and they get into Ethiopia, for example, and their M-Pesa transactions across the border takes hold like it is, there's the fiber to the home program that's also taking hold quite fast. All these things are going to push the share price of Safaricom quite high. It's time. If you feel that you need more information, go ahead to their site, go ahead online, check the information you may need, and then invest. Just begin. So the second one is Kakuzi. Kakuzi had some issues last year, and I always like these agricultural farms because they do make a lot of money and they are very stable in terms of their growth and earnings over the years. And I do say that for us to develop our economy, we need to go back and invest in these agricultural farms that are, producing lots of flowers, lots of avocados, lots of any kind, coffee, tea. We need to actually invest into them. I do say that because I believe that our economy is based or is founded on agriculture. And we are now moving so far away from agriculture. We are going into tech and stuff like that. But we have to support this foundation for us to grow. This is what is holding our country together. This is our main exports, agricultural products. So Kakuzi had issues last year. From October, they had issues because of human rights violations in their companies. So there were complaints from Malawi and Kenya. And therefore, the companies they were exporting to in Europe, which were basically in the UK, there's the Sainsbury's, there's Lidl, and then there's Tesco, which are some of the biggest companies here, some of the biggest retail supermarkets here, that stopped their import from Kakuzi. So that must have really affected them. Of course, these people are usually big on stuff like that. When they hear news about negative news from Africa, they are acting very fast. Of course, you know how that goes. Yes, they did act very fast. They stopped their imports. They stopped avocado from coming from Kakuzi. And so Kakuzi has not been exporting avocados from Kenya to the UK since October last year. That hit them big and that really affected them. But the funny thing is, their profits last year still grew by 21.9%. That's a very good growth. So imagine without the lockdown and without the issues with the human rights, Kakuzi would have done really, really well. This is a company you can invest in now before they start these exports. Trust me, their next earnings and their next profits are going to be really, really good. And the share price is going to be pushed up. Right now, because of the issues, the legal issues they're having, a lot of investors dumped their positions. And therefore, the share price went down a little bit. But this is the time to buy. You always buy the dip. Buy the dip, buy the dip. Or buy the rumor, sell the news. Buy the dip, buy the rumor. So this is the time to buy. You can get a good deal. You always want value, right? You can get a good deal on it. Buy Kakuzi, wait for the things to happen, everything to settle down, wait for them to start exporting. And then when the confidence comes back, because there are some court cases going on right now, some victims have been compensated, but some haven't yet. So it's a process that's ongoing. But already these supermarkets have said that they can start exporting as soon as next month. And that means we are ready to go. So if you buy Kakuzi right now, you're gonna be laughing to the bank in the next few months, next few years. Of course, I always say buy to hold, especially in Kenya. And then of course we have KCB. KCB is one of the banks I always tell people to invest in because I believe they are very stable. I've looked at their management, I've looked at their financials for a very long time. I've looked at their reports, I've looked at their actions, what we call the social corporate responsibilities. KCB has its hold on what it wants. And I just like the bank and how it operates, the management, the board, and everything about it. I've always done an analysis on KCB. I like the bank. But right now I'm saying that you should buy KCB for one reason. They are venturing into some real estate, basically residential, commercial, schools, and all that kind of thing. That's gonna be almost 6 billion. That sentiment alone, that emotion alone is gonna drive the prices of KCB quite high. It's a joint venture with a different company and they want to come up and develop some properties along Thika Superhighway around Juja. And they're contributing land worth 2.3 billion. This housing project is gonna be a 6 billion worth project. So this is the time to invest in KCB. But when this happens and they start reaping profits from these houses and stuff, the share price will go up. It's all sentiments. People will be thinking, oh, KCB is doing 1, 2, 3. KCB is, acquiring real estate. KCB is investing. These are good things for the company, especially real estate. Real estate has been slacking in the last 1 year because of COVID, of course. But Analysts are seeing a rebound in the housing market. People are gonna have the purchasing power once again. And when they have that purchasing power, and KCB is now venturing into that time when it's actually low. This is what we call buying the dip. So KCB is buying the dip, waiting for everything to rebound, and then they're gonna sell them, or they're gonna develop certain industrial, residential, or whatever it is they want to develop in those areas, and then they're gonna make money out of it. That sentiment is gonna help the share price go up. 2020, KCB had a hit in their profits, so their earnings were way lower than expected, but I believe they're gonna rebound. Again, that's another reason why you should be buying KCB, because when their profits dipped last year, lots of people dumped those shares. And you need to buy those shares right now before they go back to their original price, and before investors feel good about it again and push the prices up. So despite the drop, the 22% drop in their profits last year, I do believe KCB is a very good and very stable bank. Right now, they're talking about shaking up the management a little bit. And again, that's another reason why you need to go into KCB right now, because when they're talking about shaking the management, that would mean that most investors will be skeptical and they will leave, and the prices will continue diving down. And that's the time for you as a clever investor to join the rally, join KCB, take those shares when they are very low, and then wait for them to increase in price. Like I say, you have to hold for a while. So KCB is gonna do well over the long run. Anyway, guys, thank you so much. See you next time in the next video. This video is too long already, but I think I've given you enough information for you to buy these companies now. See you in the next video.